Hey y'all, welcome to our first ever episode of Housing Houston. I am your co-host, Mariela Aguirre, and I am here with,
And I am your co host, Kayla Ewald, for podcast episode 1.
and today we're going to be introducing ourselves and talking about why we're even doing this podcast, right? The reason for that is because we want to provide you valuable insight from our perspective in real estate. And so we're not only speaking with real estate agents who we collaborate with all the time, but also for the first time home buyer, that investor, the one that wants to start getting involved in real estate investing. And so we are bringing you from our background, our points of view of what we're seeing in our respective fields.
Yeah, so like she said, our goal is to just give tips and tricks and provide value for the consumer or the real estate agent in our perspective markets. And we're so excited to do so. We'll be having experts come on, professionals in their field come on every single month and give you a little bit more about what they do and how they can help you as well. So we're extremely excited to bring value to you guys. We will be on YouTube and other social media accounts, and we hope you follow us, share with your friends, and we're just super thrilled to be doing
We
this.
definitely love to talk about what we do in real estate. And so, Kayla, what is it that you are involved with in the real estate transaction?
Yeah, so I am with First American Title. I have been in the title industry for 10 years. I've been with First American for 8.5 years. We issue the title insurance on a property when you have a home buyer and a seller. So we are making sure that we convey home ownership and that your property is your property and it's free and clear of any issues. But we are 135 years old. We are a national title company. And I just have a passion for rewarding homeowners as a first time home buyer or an investor building their portfolio and being involved in that process. Yeah. And making sure it's done right. Yeah.
Exactly. So, in that same fashion, where she takes care of the title aspect of it, so there's a lot of legality that she has to go. And plays detective a little bit, with her team of finding to make sure that all the ownership details are fully available and to you can do your transaction and close it effectively. And so in that same fashion, I handle the rental properties. And so we are a full service property management company here at Terra Residential Services. And so what that means is that in a nutshell, we take care of everything on behalf of a rental property owner to the point that it's on cruise control. The only thing you have to pay is the mortgage. Make sure you pay for that mortgage so that we don't get that taken away from us. And so uh, we take care of everything from beginning to end. So based on compliance to make sure that legally it is converted to a proper rental property, taking care of the tenant screening, lease agreement drafting, doing any type of maintenance calls, the accounting, handling with HOA, because we know how finicky they can be. And so we want to make sure that we're staying in connection with them. And so, we take care of everything, and so whatever the property owner typically does not want to do as a landlord, we take that on ourselves.
And Mariela's tagline is we manage your home while you manage your life. And she truly means that. You can hand it over to her and she will take care of everything from a rental property or leasing standpoint. And she will return it back. If you are a real estate agent, she is all about collaboration. So when you bring her a client that might not want to sell, and wants to lease out their property, she's going to be the perfect referral partner for you to handle that referring that client, and then she will hand them back whenever she knows that they're ready to sell. And can you tell us a little bit about that process and what that looks like?
Yeah, for sure. So, and thank you for mentioning that because for me, I am a real estate agent. I have to be licensed in order to do property management. And so for me, I stuck to my guns in becoming just a referral agent. So, what that means for everybody out there is that I don't do the hands on buying and selling transactions. What I do is solely referring. So if you need someone in a particular area, so let's say if an owner came to me and they're like, okay, I want to invest specifically in the Katy area. Katy is dynamically different from Baytown. So for me, what I like to do is pair up owners with the correct rental real estate agent. And so I look for a local agent that knows the industry in Katy like the back of their hand. And so then I'll make that connection. And so that gives peace of mind to the agent that because I am a referral agent and don't do those, that they are more than likely able to collaborate with me because unfortunately in my industry in property management, it is somewhat known that property management companies, some of them have been known to take clients away from agents. And so that's not something that we want to do because we value our integrity very highly because of the agents that we work with. There's 50,000 in Houston alone. And so we don't ever want to damage that relationship that we have.
Yeah, so let me ask you this. Say I'm not in the Katy area, but I did refer you to that client who is now leasing in Katy. Are you going to call me first before you call that local Katy agent, or are you going to refer just based on property location?
Oh no, 100%. If you're an owner that yeah, if you're an owner that you came to me as a client on the property management side, but if an agent referred you over to me, then agent John Smith who brought you over to me is going to get that phone call. Yeah, because if you wanted to sell that property, if you wanted to buy another one, we're going to talk to your agent or more oftentimes than not, the owner talks directly with the agent because they have that trust built. And so the last thing we want to do is come in between that. And so any agent that does bring a client over to us, they have that satisfaction and comfort in knowing that if they're ready to buy and sell, then we contact that agent again so that they can handle that and then bring that property over to us.
Yeah, that's great. Great information. Okay, so talking about Katy and Pearland and Alvin and all of the geographical situations, what are you seeing in the market right now as far as leasing and rentals and so on and so forth?
Yeah, so a lot of my phone calls recently have been a lot of owners that want to sell, but they have it in the market and it's just been sitting there for 70, 90 days, 200 days. And so they're like, okay, I can't keep paying for this mortgage. I'm paying two mortgages, right? So they
And
are
that's all price points?
yeah, and that's
Okay.
all yes, that's all price points from, the 200s up to the 600,000s. And so because of that, they are now venturing off to, okay, how can I generate revenue from this? Because I'm losing money at this
Right.
point. And
It's
so
not selling, it's
it,
just sitting there.
exactly. So you're paying mortgage, utilities, and insurance, and so all of these things are coming out of your pocket.
Hmm.
And so those are the type of phone calls that I've been getting. And
Okay.
the other side has been a lot of owners that I call them my three percenters because they have locked in 3%, 2.75%, 2.5 because they bought in that during that time period where we had
Right.
a unicorn era,
2020,
right? Yeah,
2021. Yeah.
exactly. And so they don't want to let go. I'm in that boat. I have a property that I have it locked in for 275 and I'm not planning on
So they
selling that.
might be wanting to change scenery. They might be wanting to upgrade or change location, but they don't want to get rid of that interest rate. So they don't want to
Exactly.
sell off that property. They just want to maybe rent it out and lease it out and then buy somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
because that home no longer fits them, whether that's empty nesters or that is an upgrade because their family is growing, or hey, I have to move because of my job and I can't say no. So, because of those reasons, then they know they don't want to sell it because they're never going to get that interest rate in their lifetime. I'm sorry to break it to y'all.
It's
I
not
know.
bad right now, but it's not how it was a couple years ago.
Yes, it's been complicated to get that realization out to
Right.
people because that was a unicorn era,
Absolutely.
and
This
so
is normal.
yeah,
This
exactly.
is normal right now.
Because right now, if I'm not mistaken, we're at what around the seven
Yeah.
percent,
Seven.
low or high six
Hmm.
6%.
We're not loan officers. We'll have one next month, but
Yes, we will bring that insight.
disclaimer.
Yes, but that's what I've been seeing.
What we're kind of seeing on our side is people aren't selling based on all of the interest rates and getting better interest rates and situations unless they have life-changing events happening. So people are selling whenever they are going through a divorce. People are selling whenever they have a new baby and need to upgrade. People are selling when there's been a death on that property and now they're going through the probate issue. And First American Title does have ways to find out those issues on these properties. So if you're a real estate agent and you're looking for a resource to capture these kinds of things, get with me because our Ignite RE resource does have that. But that's the main reason why people are selling nowadays. So in this market, we don't have enough inventory. So even if you have a buyer ready to buy, even with the interest rate it is, they don't have anywhere to buy. There's multiple offers on one standalone house because that's the only thing on inventory. Not necessarily, but you get what I'm saying.
Right now, I'm happy that you bring up in regards to probate because that can be a very lengthy process, which is why it's super, super important. Y'all, it's super, super important for you to get your estate planning done. And so we're gonna bring that's one of our guests in the future months of having an estate and probate attorney come
She's
speak to us.
phenomenal.
She really is. She helped me with my estate
Mhm.
planning as well. And so why I'm saying this is because the phone calls that also I've been getting too recently, last week alone, is my mother passed away and I have this property that needs to get deeded over to me. Can you guide me through the next steps and what that would look
And
like?
it's not that simple.
It's not,
At
no, and
that point,
it's lengthy too, and
it's
that's the
lengthy.
problem.
That's
Yeah,
a better word
yeah,
for
and
it. It's
because of the length of that, because we don't know how long probate will be, having everything from the jump of what well, you get to dictate while you're still alive, you get to dictate what happens to your estate. And so that becomes then easy playbook to the probate courts and like, okay, this is what happens, right? Call it good. And it's not easier or but it's slightly easier than just going to probate without a will and testament. And so with that being said, that just makes the process easier for us, because of the phone calls that I've been getting where now the generations are moving, right? Whether that's literally moving from one place to another or passing away. As I mentioned, I had two phone calls alone already where one of the parents passed away and now they have to go through this process. Luckily, one of my callers ended up being that she already went through probate because they did have a will and testament. And so that became easier. And now she's ready to go. She handed me her documents and we're onboarding her.
yeah, it's just making things simpler.
Yes.
Just being ready for whenever that happens. But again, that's why people are moving right now. That's why people are selling is when life-changing events are happening because it's just a different day and age with the inventory, with the interest rates and everybody being hesitant. But now is the best time to buy. Now is always the best time to buy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you're on the fence, go ahead and do it because you want to create equity and have your own home and pay your own mortgage instead of somebody else's. So I mean, I never think it's a bad idea to invest in real estate.
Oh, for sure. And on top of that, right now, if you're a buyer, you don't have the competition as you would when once the interest rates drop significantly and everybody thinks that it's about to collide. Do you not think that everybody else and their mom is going to
Look
jump
at
into the market?
2021,
Exactly.
50,000 over asking price.
Exactly.
Do
So
you
while
think that home appraised for 50,000 over asking price? That's a
ex-
whole different subject.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so while right now where everybody's so fearful of the interest rate, lock it in, and later down the line, you get a great loan officer that can do the refinancing part. And that is its own thing that you have to deal with
We're
because
walking on
it's the
eggshells here with what
yeah,
to say and what not to
yes,
say.
yes. We'll have that loan officer come
Yeah.
in and discuss this
He'll be
further,
able to give
but
you all the
yeah,
insights.
while it's not as easy as people think it is refinancing, but it is a better method versus you waiting later down the line and that sales price is going to go up higher on the house that you want. Whether that is now or later, in my opinion, I feel like people should be buying now. I would absolutely be in the market myself.
Absolutely. And a lot of people don't know this, but you actually get a discount on your fees if you refinance after purchasing within a couple years. So you're getting into that house. You're locking it in, date the rate, marry the house. That's the big saying that people are saying nowadays. I'm hearing it everywhere. I didn't make it up,
Yeah.
but I'll take credit for it. But go ahead and get in, and then a year or two down the line, when interest rates hopefully drop a little bit, even if they go to 5.5, or whatever the case may be, then you can refinance with a discount on your fees because you just bought that house. So we'll have him on the podcast here soon, I think. So be on the lookout to give you all the insights. And that's what we want to do here is provide value to you guys and give you little nuggets that you might not know whenever it comes to the real estate industry. So we're going to have some really, really good people. We have a water restoration company coming on board. Like Mariela mentioned, we have a probate attorney coming on board, the lender coming on board, tax professional coming on board. So many good professionals. Financial advisor is committed to coming on our podcast. So again, be on the lookout. This is Housing Houston, and we're super excited.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're thrilled to be able to have this because us being in the industry, we know what's happening, but you don't necessarily know what's going on, as a buyer or seller. And so that's why we wanted to come in and really be here for you guys in order to give you that update uh, based on just raw POV, our point of view of what we're seeing and the realities of it. Right, like for example, right now, it's really tough to find a rental property, especially if it's on market. If it's
Right.
off market, it becomes a little bit better as far as the ROI, your cash flow, and also it depends on what type of investor you're going to be. I have investors that are more focused on cash flow, and no, I have to have it at a certain percentage rate and call it good. But I have others that are more focused on the long term game.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're looking for that appreciation. So they're just wanting to, if I have to pay out of pocket a little bit, that's fine, but I know that this property, because of the area that it's in, it's going to get gentrified, unfortunately, but it's going to increase in value. And so that's how some of the investors are picking and choosing, and that's the best methodology, is figure out what type of investor you want to be.
So, you being with Terra Residential, tell us a little bit about your role within Terra Residential and the locations that you guys service and what all you can do regarding that.
For sure. So I am the business development manager
Me
there.
too.
Yeah, we're both
We're the
BDMs.
same.
Yes, and so I handle the sales and acquisition. So I'm the face of the company. I'm the first person that anybody speaks to, whether that's a real estate agent looking for more information for their client, or that's an actual client calling us to look about our services and ask questions. And so that's my role, particularly in the company.
Okay. But you wear many hats.
And yeah, marketing and social media
That's what I
content
say.
creator.
Marketing rep,
Yes.
sales rep, BDM, business development manager. Um, Sometimes the pest control and the janitor and all the things.
Yes, BDMs, we tend to wear a lot of hats for sure,
Yeah.
for
Therapist, I get that
yes.
one a lot.
Oh, yeah, some of my phone calls have been extended because it's a
Absolutely.
lot of listening to the
Much
pain
like real
points.
estate agents.
Oh, for sure. And
Yeah.
so going back to our conversation about in regards to probate, and that's why it's super important to find experts, but local experts, because I don't know anything about the California market. I don't know anything about the Canadian market. I only know what's happening here because I'm boots on the ground. And just as similar to what Kayla's doing, she plays detective work. She has to figure out, okay, who has proper ownership, legal ownership of this property, to make sure that can we transfer it over to the next owner that's wanting to buy it. And so her work is super important. So if you are selling, and sometimes the buyers do have options of what title company it does go.
Absolutely. It's going to be your buyer's title policy.
Right, and that's always up for negotiation, so it doesn't hurt to ask. I've done that myself, where as a buyer, I requested First American
Yes, you
Title,
did.
and I
Thank
wanted them to
you.
handle my closing, and so the seller
Because
didn't have
it's
a
who
problem.
it's who you're gonna call in the future if something were to ever come back on your property. The buyer is now the homeowner and has that property, and if anything comes back and she or he starts getting letters in the mail and tax issues and this issue, then you want to know who you're calling. A title company that's reliable and financially stable to take care of that claim, because it does happen. It
Oh
does
yeah,
happen.
you hear horror stories all the time. I literally got off the phone with a lady, and it was a Spanish phone call, so I had to take my time there. I speak Spanish, so if you are a Spanish speaker, I got you. But in regards to that phone call, she was telling me just how disastrous that transaction has been for her daughter that is buying a property, and that title, it sounds like really sketchy work that they've been doing. So it's always super important to find someone that is an expert that is going to do the due diligence for you,
Title
because
companies are not all the same.
absolutely
And
not.
although we are state regulated and although our fees are state regulated, we are not all the same because it matters who is in that branch and who you are working with. I got a call yesterday that this homeowner bought her house a couple months ago. She's been receiving bills, um, tax bills. Apparently, it wasn't cleared, it wasn't paid off at closing. And so now her new house that she just bought 3 months ago is now in pre foreclosure because the title company did not convey ownership correctly and did not pay off everything correctly. And now the new homeowner is in some pretty deep stuff. Now, a claim is going to be filed within that title company, and hopefully, they are able to pay that claim, make it right, and pay off everything to get it done. But that's why it matters who you're working with whenever it comes to important your property, your biggest investment, your biggest asset.
Absolutely. And so I know you asked me as far as the areas that we take care of, which is Houston and surrounding areas. So we go up far up to Conroe, Willis, the Woodlands, down to far south. We have I had a call for Lamarck and Texas City. So we take care of everybody down south, everybody up north, far west to Fulshire, far east, a little bit before Baytown. So we have a very big geographic presence. And so for you, Kayla, where do you service or where are your offices located and what does your team look like?
Yeah. So I am the sales rep for Clear Lake and Pearland. So I cover both of those branches, both of those offices. But we can close anywhere: Pearland, Fresno, Missouri City, Texas City. Clear Lake, Pasadena, LaPorte, all the surrounding Houston areas. And this day and age, although our offices are Pearland and Clear Lake, we have many options for closing. A lot of people don't even want to come into the offices anymore to close. So we offer remote online notaries, mobile closings. You can also do POAs to have somebody sign on your behalf, but we travel to close. I have 6 escrow officers in Clear Lake and in Pearland, 2 of which are bilingual, so they speak Spanish as well. But we're just here to accommodate the clients as best as we can.
Awesome. Yeah, and that builds perfect rapport with real estate agents because they have to be flexible, because especially here in Houston where it's such a diverse city, we're what, number 3 now or number
We're
1?
up
I
there.
think we're at number
We're
1
up
if I'm not
there.
mistaken.
Hmm.
But now being so diverse, especially having the dominant language being English and Spanish, it's super important to have someone on your team that can actually explain the legal documents, the stack of title, that title will give you is a whole packet of, things that you'll have to sign. And so oftentimes a lot of people don't understand what they're signing, what is each page, and so having an
Especially if
escrow.
it's not their first language.
Exactly. So having an escrow agent who can explain what is it that you're signing away, like she said, you're one of your biggest assets that you're going to have. And, it's not little money. It's not, $100, $1,000. No, we're talking big money. And so you want to make sure that you are knowing you're knowledgeable in what you're signing. Yeah, I honestly feel that we can talk about this all day. I mean, I know I can, and I know Kayla can as well, just because of we're we're here, we're
We're
in the
passionate
industry.
about what we do.
Oh, for sure. And one thing that we both relate to is that we want to service our clients and whatever information that you need. I know I have seen firsthand Kayla go above and beyond for
Same for
clients.
you.
And thank you. And because of how important it is to her to make sure that her clients are taken care of. And I've seen it again firsthand within her own office, and so she will answer any questions and whatever you need. No, there is no such thing as a dumb question in real estate. Please, please know that, especially for our first time home buyers, especially for my young first time home buyers. I had the lovely honor of being present for my niece's, for her, yeah, her
Yay.
first home. And
I love that.
she was 24 at the time. And,
Good for
yeah.
her.
And so she also wants to go through the investor route.
Yeah,
So, and she had a lot of questions and that's okay. That's what we're here for
that's
because
what we're here for.
we're the experts. We know this because we live it and breathe it. So if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We will have our contact information available here shortly at the end of this podcast, and so feel free to follow us on both our social medias that we have, and also through Housing Houston social medias.
Yep.
So we thank you so much for being here with us and taking the time. And we definitely wanted to keep it short, sweet, and simple. And so I have been one of your co-hosts, Mariela Aguirre.
And I have been your other co host, Kayla Ewald, and this is Housing Houston. Till next time.
Bye, y'all.